we are back at it again, working on the finishing of the fiberglass work. I didn't do it when I first built the horizontal stabilizer. Now I figured I'd work on it, seeing as my kit's going to come in, and it's pretty straightforward so far. Basically fit it in there, try and get it forward as much as you can, drill the holes out, do both sides, and then you've got to fill in this gap. And what you do is put a piece of fiberglass across the top or the face of it, and then once you get the fiberglass across, then what you want to do is put some on the inside to kind of back it. Well, I'm not going to do that. You know, people put a piece of foam in here temporarily, but I have this high density foam, and you can see here I've got it marked out already. What I'm going to do is I'm going to cut this out. I'm going to put it right in here, and I'm thinking right now what I'll do is I'll just actually permanently leave it there. This stuff weighs pretty much nothing, so I don't think it's going to be an issue. It's just going to make it a lot easier, and anyway, I'll try it and see how it works out. We'll see where it goes from here. It's not per the plans, and I don't know if it's the right thing to do, don't know if it's going to matter, but it is what I'm going to do. And here's what it'll look like with that high density foam in there. So basically I'll glass that in just using resin, cover it over, and then I'll put a fiberglass sheet right over the top of this. And depending on how solid that looks or feels, I might put another fiberglass sheet on the inside, kind of a back tabbing of it on the inside. But I think this should work out pretty good. It's not quite symmetrical, but not sure anyone will notice. So first step done. Let it sit. It's been overnight now, and you can see I've just epoxied this piece in. I originally had it all clecoed in. I've got most of the clecos out, and now I'm just going to take it off. And when I take it off, you'll actually be able to see what it looks like. So basically, cut the shape out, and then you can see here's the back of it on the inside. So now I need to put a fiberglass sheet on the front and get set up to do that. And once that's done, I'll fiberglass that in, and it should be pretty much good to go. Here it is with my fiberglass sheet. I'm just going to cut out a little extra because the ends are going to get a little frayed, and cut it out, put it on top, epoxy it in, and we'll see how it turns out. Okay, so now we're going to put the fiberglass on here. So just mixing up my resin. And now that I've got that done, I'm just going to go and put some of this on top of here, just so I got some good coverage. By the way, I did sand this down a little bit so that it would be a smooth surface to put the fiberglass on top of. Hopefully it'll make my life easier later on. But applying my resin on top of this, filling in all the voids, hopefully. Now that I've got that done, I have my piece of fiberglass, and I'm just going to lay that on top of it. And now I'm going to apply the resin right on top of it. Again, no idea what I'm doing. Hopefully this will work out. I think it should. Doesn't look all that difficult, but I'm trying to make it look like it looks nice and clean. Good job, well attached. Like I said, I left the high density foam in there anyway, so it'll have something to attach to permanently. But this is it, and now that I've got it on, I'm just going to go and see if I can't make that pretty smooth. I have peel ply as well I could put on there. I'm not going to do that for this. I think this should be fine. And of course, some of the resin's going to get soaked and absorbed into the foam. I'm sure there's another way to do this. Maybe it's more efficient. Maybe if I put the peel ply on, it might help out as well. But right now, it looks like it's got some good coverage. And we'll see once it dries. But I think that should do it. Okay, so here we have it. Basically what I did is I put some resin on top of the high density foam. I laid my fiberglass sheet on top. I put resin on the top of that, smoothed it out a little bit. I have some peel ply I could have put on here. I think it makes the surface a little cleaner, smoother, but I didn't bother with it. Not for this anyway. I don't think it's going to matter that much, but we'll see. If it does need to be redone, I can sand it a little bit and clean it up. But that should be good. And you know, overall, I see how this goes, but it should work just fine. Okay, so I did end up putting peel ply on here. When I looked at it, I thought maybe it might make a difference. We'll see. Maybe it'll be a little smoother when I'm done. So now I'm going to peel this off, but it's all hardened in here. A little messy, but we'll see how it looks here as we pull this back. But it should be pretty straightforward. A little hard to do, I think. Yeah, it looks pretty good. A little air bubble here, but overall it looks pretty smooth actually. Pretty good. I was a little concerned because when I put the peel ply on there, I had to come back and hit it with a little bit more epoxy because I didn't do it right away, but it's looking pretty good. So now I need to cut it off, trim this around the edge, and just kind of have a look at it and see how it's looking. I'll show it once I get it a little trimmed up. So here it is back on after initial just rough sanding. It's not cleaned off yet. By the way, I used a utility knife. Worked out really well just to cut around it, clean it up. It's got some epoxy resin here that or epoxy that was just kind of rolled down the side that I need to sand off. I need to sand off some more of it, but so far it looks pretty good. And I don't know, at least from what I've seen, I think the using that high density foam, really just leaving it in there seems to make it a lot easier. And putting the peel ply on, I mean, this is pretty smooth already. It's not perfect, but it's not bad. Hopefully it helps. Cheers. You know, what I'll do now is I'll end up putting the coating of the resin mixed with this stuff here, which is a cotton fiber, and that's what gives it some thickness. And it's also, what we use to fill it in. But I'll use a little bit of that, mix it in with the epoxy, and then I'll use that to kind of smooth out anything that I need to smooth out here to get it nice and flush. But so far, looking good.